YouTube, Electric Adventures here with another package from Japan with, I believe, some items for my favourite computer system, plus some titles towards our Famicom collection that I've started up recently. So, wrapped up very good as usual. So our first one is a Famicom title, and these Famicom titles, I bought them in like bundles of 4 for only a couple of dollars. So I've never played this one, don't know anything about it. It's Zoids. So what I'm planning to do with the Famicom titles, sorry, dog bark there. So here's the first one. It's Zoids, a Famicom title. Try and get that to focus so you can see the cover. It's not in too bad condition. I don't know anything about the game itself, because I said I just bought these in lots of 4, and I'm sure that's not necessarily one of the titles that I recognised in the first place. I'd say this pack here is the ones that came with that lot of 4. They do wrap them very well, so I will have to say that about these guys. And this is from the general auction site, so now I probably picked this lot of 4 because this looked like a shoot 'em up. That's what basically I think I picked this lot of 4 for. So this next one's called Argus. So at some stage I'll get a Famiclone or a real Famicom, and I'll start doing some gameplays of the Famicom games and work my way through them, probably in lots of 2 or 3 or something like that. Now this one's from ASCII Corporation, once again another company that got started on the MSX machines as well, and big support. Obviously the ASCII Corporation looked after the MSX standard in Japan. This is more than probably an RPG of some kind, but it does have quite nice cover art, so it'll be interesting to see what that game is like in the end. And yeah, I mean, I only paid a couple of dollars for this, so it'll be very interesting what some of these games are. I'm just trying to read this really small writing. Sorry, I'm getting old, and it's little blue writing against the background, and I can't pick it out. So we've got several mystery Famicom titles that there we go. Somebody else might be able to figure out what that one is. It's in a slightly larger cartridge too. So all these are just in, they're not in shiny new condition or anything like that, but the condition is fine enough for me just building up a bit of a cheap Famicom collection, and it's far cheaper me getting Famicom cartridges than it is getting NES cartridges. Both PAL titles here in Australia generally go for a bit of money, and the titles in obviously the US, I have to deal with postage, and postage from the US is pretty much a no-go now, because we don't pay import duty here in Australia, but the stupid standard export service that they have basically means I have to pay import duty before it leaves the country, even though I don't pay import duty, wouldn't pay import duty normally, built into the postage price, and the postage prices have all gone up, so it's really not worth getting anything from the US anymore. Now this is this is another Famicom lot, a couple of economy titles. So we have, and this is a game I've got for the MSX, and it's Antarctic Adventure. So I'll be most interested, and this is the original reason I started getting these Famicom titles, was I wanted to get the ones that had been released on the MSX, so I can do comparison videos. And the cover is almost identical to the MSX one. They've used very similar cover there. And the next game is, and I think I've already got a copy of this one, this is Twin Bee. So I might have a few trades to do. Label's not in too bad condition. Not sure the top label of the other one I've got in as good a condition. And then we have this title here by Namco. So Namco was their earlier name. Might be a platformer of some kind, or it could be an adventure game, and then it might cause a few problems. And then the last game, also by Namco. The figure looks familiar from PC Engine games, but it's either going to be a feudal Japan strategy game, or it could be a platformer like the this character that's in games on the PC Engine. It's a bit of a scrolling hack and slash, almost sort of like mini adventure type game. Okay, and now the next two are actually multiple lots for the MSX. So these ones we will be able to do gameplays in this video. And I think out of all of these, so there's 6 games here, there's only one that I already have, which is very good. So there will be a tray, and some of these ones I didn't even know came out for the MSX, let alone came out in cartridge form. Okay, now the very first one is one that I have, but we'll do a gameplay of it because I don't believe I have, and it's called Battlecross. It's by Sony, and this is a different sort of cartridge layout style than the other Sony titles. I believe they came in different boxes than the square other Sony titles, but Battlecross. And next title, now this is one that I knew came out for the MSX, although I'd only ever seen the second game in the series in tape form, and I just thought it would be a tape game, but it's actually Pitfall in cartridge, and the cartridge is in perfect condition. Well, the label's a little, it's not that bad though. So once again, with MSX titles, really don't know the rarity of them. But to actually get Pitfall on the MSX and see how different it is from the Coleco version and the other versions that are out there were very interesting. And as I said, here's another surprise that I never knew came out for the MSX, and it'll be interesting to see what it's like, and it's actually Sega's Hang On. So it's an MSX1 title, so it can't display as many colours as the Master System, which the Master System has a chip that's very similar to the MSX2 level of computers. It definitely says MSX1, so all these titles have been MSX1 so far. Will be quite interesting to see, but I've never seen that one before at all on MSX. We have some more. Oh, we might have one other repeat in here. So there we go, I've got 2 repeats. Once again, all wrapped very well. Okay, so the first one's the repeat, and it is Konami's Hyper Rally. But once again, we'll do a gameplay on it for completeness. It's actually in really good condition, really good label. Nothing wrong with that one at all. So I mean, getting a couple of Konami titles, and a game that I absolutely love on the Atari 2600 and the Atari 8-bit and the ColecoVision version. Well, I'm not sure I've got the ColecoVision version, although I've played it, is River Raid. This is absolutely one of my favourite Atari 2600 era shoot 'em ups, and it'll be interesting to see whether this is any different from the Coleco version. Probably not, but you never know. In the MSX machines, it's got a back label as well. MSX machines obviously have more physical memory than a Coleco, but the same graphics chip, and of the sound chips better in an MSX machine compared to the Coleco. And then the next title, I've played this. This is one of the games We first got back in the store when we sold MSX machines, and it came with a lot of games that came with the Sony hit bits that we sold. I mean, it's not a particularly fantastic game, but still. I mean, I have been trying to collect, and this is one of the ones that comes in square boxes. So I've been trying to collect these games in box, but to get a loose copy it doesn't matter, and it's Alpha Squadron. So this is the other more familiar style of Sony MSX games with this label. So all the Load Runner games come out in this one, and the Radon Bungling Bay and Choplifter. Sort of like one, so it's made in Japan, but it's exactly the same release for Western, except they have a different slip cover on them. So our box is now empty. So we have some excellent additions to the Famicom collection. I've actually filled up my little tray that I've got my Famicom games in there, so I'm going to have to start double stacking for the time being till I get another one of those cassette drawers. I have to check out the tip store, but we've got 6 MSX games to have a play of, so let's go give them a go. Right, here we go with our first game. This one's called Battlecross. Now, it's a very early title, although 1984, it's not that early. But anyway, we have our white ship here, and marine things coming at us. Okay, and repetitive sound effects. Whoops. So the enemies are attacking in a bit of a zigzag format. And then we've got some rocks that I take it we need to avoid. So you definitely need to keep on your toes. It's starting to go a different way now, just up. Whoops, got me. Oh, I might have finished the stage. So we have a different high frequency tone, and the enemies are moving even quicker. Ooh, the lightning effect. Collision detection on the enemy seems to be a bit hit and miss. But it's also favouring. Right, might be the number of ones you kill is how we go on to the next stage. Okay, so I can't shoot at the moment. Right, so basically, I take it I've got to make it up to that thing up there. Let's keep in line with it. There we go. So like a docking, or maybe that's the warp gate we've got to go through. Okay, and now we've got, whoops, and we can run into the, you can run into the side, so I need to be careful there. So although appearing reasonably simple to start with, you know, it's got a bit more to it. I can't remember whether I've ever done a gameplay of this before, but I have played it. So it's not too bad. Depends how much money you paid for it in the first place. There are obviously better games out there for the MSX. I think this sort of game where you know it's got a bit of excitement to it, but its replayability, lastability is probably not that long. Well, we're still going. Oops! Oh, now we're dead. Alright, well it's not a bad little game. Let's try the next one. Right, here we go with Alpha Squadron. Now this is from the same AG Corp again. I thought the other one was AG Corp as well. Interesting. Obviously play 1 or 2 players. Refueling on the ground. And we crashed it the wrong way. Interesting enough. Let's make sure I've got my thing on repeat. It's a little bit sensitive on the and I don't seem to have a lot of control. I may have to try this with keys. Might give this a go with the keyboard. So let's try it again. So wait for our refuel. Let's try again. It just has this thing about going to the side and you don't seem to be able to do See, I managed to correct that initial might be one I may have to read some instructions on and come back to it at a later time. I do remember the game from back in the day. It looks familiar. I just can't remember how to play it. And having no box and no instructions makes it a bit harder. Alright, let's try our next game. And now we have River Raid for the MSX. A thing that I never thought I would be playing. So let's obviously speed level 1. So it's nice and bright. Looking quite similar to the Coleco version. And the Coleco version is actually quite a good version because it has quite a few features some of the other versions don't have. I missed some fuel there. And it's okay to leave the tanks at the moment because they don't shoot at you, but if you fall for that trap later on, they take a pot shot at you as you try and cross. It has quite nice smooth vertical scrolling, proving it's perfectly possible on the MSX, given the right programmer. Oh, I was holding off my shot so I could shoot the tank. I try and get through this a bit quicker. So we can just see how the levels progress a little bit. It plays really well. This is definitely a game that will be on my regular play cycle. Really, really happy I got a copy of this for the MSX. And even better that I didn't even know it existed, so, you know, it was a complete and utter surprise. I just so wish some of these games were available outside of Japan. You know, you think of how much more support the system would have got. We've got extra life. Here we go, and we've got the tanks coming in and they're starting to shoot. Getting some tighter bends. Alright, I'm actually, I mean, even though I'm not that concentrating very well, I'm pretty good at River Raid, and that would probably go on far too long, so absolutely awesome. Triple thumbs up. So let's try our next one. Next we have Hyper Rally. Now I have shown this one before, not too long ago. Okay, so it's a normal push button to accelerate, and you've got to stop accelerating to allow it to change gears. Watch that slide on the corners. A little tricky getting past those. So we have a goal marker down the bottom there. So I take it we've got to try and we've got a couple of minutes to get to the goal and pass as many cars as we can. So this is sort of like an enduro race. Just being really careful that I don't crash into any of them. Nice straight bit. Ooh. You really start to slide if you don't back off a little bit on the corners. Yeah, we're getting some lane changing now. Oops. Okay, the time's going up, so it's sort of like maybe we have to pass a certain number of cars to get to the next stage. This is actually quite a playable game. And there's, you know, a reasonable amount of detail in the both our car and the other cars. There you go, come on in. Disqualified. I probably needed to get below 650, I reckon. So, yes, not a very good example of a Hyper Rally there, was it? But an excellent looking little game. Let's try the next one. Next, we have a game by Sega on the MSX. And we have Hang On. So, I'm really interested to see what this is like. I mean, it's probably actually very close to the, I believe Hang On is also on the Sega SC3000 SG1000 machines. And I do have that on the multi-card, don't I? Okay. Oh, 2 buttons. Okay. So, button 2 is accelerate. And I was probably pressing on brake. Now the SG-1000, SC-3000 have the same sound chip that's in the Sega the ColecoVision, which is a little limited on frequency range, and you can't change the wave envelope, whereas the MSX has wider frequency range and you can change the shape of the sound envelope. But this sound, it's alright, I suppose. Whoops. Oh. I have made it to the third stage. I've got no complaints because it's, whoops, besides me being terrible at the game, it's actually not a bad port considering machine capabilities. With a bit more practice I might be able to get better at this. And it has the essence of the music from the thing. I mean, this would be pretty close to the Sega Master System's music. Yeah, I need to learn how to use the brake a bit more, I think. Ah, you got me again. Okay, so I'm making a little bit of headway. Well, got past him without crashing, going around the corner. So it shows even I can improve at driving games. There we go. I actually got somewhere in our first off demonstration. How about that? We get a bonus for how much time we got left. I suppose it's a bit like pole position, and just you get a final score, and you've got to try and beat it when you play next time. So challenge that. Oh no, I've got multiple courses. Okay, well that's really good. All right, we'll move on to the next game. Very interesting finding that game too. Okay, and here we go for our last game for this session, and it is Pitfall, a game that I never knew came out in cartridge for the MSX. I said I have seen a tape version of Pitfall 2, but I've never seen a copy of Pitfall 1. So I'm taking this is going to be very similar to the Coleco version. Ooh. Oops. Ah. You sort of got to hold the joystick up at an angle. Now how do I get off? No, okay. Gotta press down. Oops. See, that's what's trying. You've actually got to push up at an angle to jump. Oh, and since I'm playing with the arcade stick, which is more four-directional, it'd probably be okay with an Atari. And there's all three of my lives gone already. That is a terrible demonstration of Pitfall. How do I restart? Surely not. Make it reset. Anyway, graphics look very nice. I haven't played Pitfall for a very long time, as you can see, and probably shouldn't have been playing with my arcade stick. But awesome, awesome. to get that game on the MSX. Never thought I would. And just yeah, an amazing lot of 6 games to add to the collection, and hope you've enjoyed having a look at them. Thank you to all my subscribers. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all later.